Hey everyone, my name is Olga and welcome back to my channel, and today we are gonna try new eyeshadow palette from Revolution, the Cherry Icon. You're gonna see swatches, 2 looks with wear test of course, and we are gonna discuss this beauty. So take a seat and let's go. Today we're gonna have something burgundy, and I wanna try these two lovely shades. Unfortunately, they're slightly dry. I hope I won't have any issues while blending, but we'll see. And most likely I will try these two creamy shades today, actually. And let's start from the darkest one. And I'm gonna apply it closer to the outer corner and inner corner, starting from the outer corner. Wow, beautiful, beautiful shade. Reminds me raspberries. Lovely shade, like it. Honestly, I thought that it would be darker, but okay, anyway, I like it. Applying, and of course immediately blending the edges and moving the shade a little bit up. And of course, blending the edges right here as well. Applying this shade closer to the inner corner. Setting with a powder, at least a little bit. Applying over. Time to try these beauties. Starting from a similar shade actually. Applying it fully over. Exact match. Starting from the outer corner, blending the edges, moving a little bit up, and blending, changing the brush, and applying it closer to the inner corner. Let's try this beautiful peach shade. It's satin, slightly satin. So this shade is dusty. Blending, using it for blending the edges. Time to add a bit of darkness. Let's try this purple. It looks quite pigmented. Hope that it's blendable enough. Interesting shade. It has a red undertone. Adding in the inner corner as well. Time to add shimmers and okay, let's try this one. It's a basic metallic, and it's not that easy to, well, have at least something. Adding closer to the outer parts. It has a bit of redness as well. You know what? In the center, let's add light cream shade. Using a flat brush and applying directly in the center. And moving it a little bit. Now let's add this one as an extra transition shade, and this beauty I will add in the center directly. This shade contains more red if we compare it to the previous one, and actually it looks slightly even red on the eyelid. A mix of red and pink. In the center, adding this beautiful, beautiful topper. A mix of golden and pink. Lower lid time, and again starting from raspberry shade. Not sure about inner corner actually. At least for now. Okay, let's fully add the shade. Here, moving to the purple, adding closer to the outer corner and to the inner corner as well. And under the pupil, let's add this one. Adding black near the lash line, in the waterline, and blending it. Finished look. And these shimmers, they look lovely. I like them. Currently I'm wearing on my lips a lip liner from Kiko Milana, Street Heart shade Free, and a lip gloss from Charlotte Tilbury in shade Pillow Talk. And I thought I thought that my final look would be kind of darker and not that pink. But it looks quite pink and quite red at the same time. Of course, more pink. Okay. Fine. Okay, today in total I've tried 9 shades. 9 shades, and I haven't tried only 3 shades from this palette. Oh, that's okay. That's nice. That's lovely. Quality. I don't have any questions. Despite the fact that these 2 shades are quite dry, they're blendable, they work nicely together, and they're pigmented enough, and you can layer them. Metallics, it's not that easy to apply them with a brush. It's doable, but yes, you have to spend a bit of time. And I thought that these 3 shades would be quite dry, but they aren't. And if we compare them to metallics from the other palettes from Revolution, I think that these metallics are still way better. They are more creamy, they're pigmented enough, and actually they look lovely. And don't forget, and never keep such bright pink and red shades like this, and don't apply anything red in the waterline, because otherwise your eyes would appear way too red. Always try to add something else in the waterline when you use so many pinkish shades or so many bright pink red shades, because otherwise your eyes would look as if you cried the whole night and as if you're still crying. So please don't forget about it. Not my favorite shades, but still they look kind of lovely. Still look, yeah. No questions. The quality is great. I don't have any questions. Okay guys, now I'm gonna show you eye look closely, and we will see each other in the evening. I have my makeup on today almost 13 hours, and let's check everything out. On this side I used an eyeshadow primer, and actually everything looks quite great. On this side I haven't used it, and eyeshadows, they creased a little bit right here, but it doesn't look that bad. My eyeshadows are still quite bright. I don't see any fallout, so honestly it doesn't look bad, and actually I like it. The only thing, okay, right here eyeshadows, they creased in this area. Okay, second look, and today we don't really have that many shades to try, and we are gonna do smoky eyes. I'm gonna create a base using this no, I don't want to use this cream eyeshadow. You know what, I'm not gonna use any cream eyeshadows today, okay? We're gonna start directly from the darkest shade. This one we're gonna use as a crease shade, and this one probably we're gonna use for blending the edges a little bit. And we still haven't tried this this metallic shade. We are gonna use it, of course we're gonna use it, and I will apply it all over my upper lid, and as an extra we will add this shade. That's the plan. Let's go, starting from the darkest shade and using a flat brush and applying it fully all over my lid, starting from the center and adding it till the crease. A little bit above, actually. Layering it. Oh, you know, it's not patchy and looks quite great. Changing the brush as I need something small and applying the shade on my lower lid as well. Let's try this beauty. It's a kind of a mix of gray with beige, and I think that it contains a bit of pink. Blending the edges, starting directly from the edges for not having harsh lines. No, it doesn't contain pink. I was wrong. Or it does. Maybe it does, but just a little bit. Mainly beige with a bit of, not even a bit of, with gray. Time for a big fluffy brush, and let's blend the edges using peach. Blending. Now let's try metallic. Quite creamy. We'll apply it. Let's apply it in the center right here. As an option, of course, you can keep it like this. Don't forget to blend the edges, of course, because this shade has a visible base and it may look not the greatest way if you don't blend everything. Looks okay, but we are gonna add a topper, at least a little bit. So adding this beauty over, again starting from the center. And what's left on my brush, applying a bit above the crease. Oh, it's visible right now that the shade shifts a little bit from pink to golden. And in the inner corner, what we are gonna add in the inner corner, guys? I'm not actually quite sure. Let's add a highlighter from Catrice shade 2. And adding black in the waterline and near the lash line. And of course, blending the edges. And I don't really want to wear false lashes today, so I will use just simply mascara. Final look. And as a mascara today, I used this beauty from L'Oreal. It's called Paradise Big Deal. And on my lips, currently I'm wearing these two products. Lip liner from Miss Taste in shade 780. And a lip gloss, it was a limited edition from Kika Milana in shade Little Mermaid. Shade... don't know. It's not written here. I don't know why. Okay, anyway. Impressions. It was so easy. It was so easy to blend these two together. And this dark shade, it's not patchy, it looks great, it's not that dry, quite easy to work with it. The only thing that some PVCs, they may fall off actually. So be careful while applying and don't grab way too much product on a brush, sorry. And yeah, I think that they look quite lovely. And this topper, fun fact, if we compare this topper to the one we used and we tried as a part of the other palette, this one looks better, it's better pressed, it's not that flaky, and that's why it's easier to work with it. I don't know how they did it this way, but that's the reality. They are not fully the same, they are not fully identical. A product and the shade looks quite lovely and it shifts a little bit. I will probably try to show it to you. I'm not sure whether it's gonna be visible or no. It's like on this side, it's a little bit pink purple. On this side, it looks more golden on highlight in person. On camera, I'm not quite sure that you can see it. That was easy. That was lovely. Okay, now I'm gonna show you eye look closely and we will see each other in the evening. I have my makeup on today, almost 11 hours. Let's check everything out here. I haven't used an eyeshadow primer here, I've used it. And on this side, actually, both sides, they look okay. They look okay. Nothing actually creased except this area. Right here on both sides, eyeshadows, they creased a little bit, but I haven't used the eyeshadow primers right here. That's it. And this mascara from L'Oreal, look at it. It transferred quite badly. And it wasn't that hot outside. It was around 25 today or something. So yes, this beauty transfers quite badly, but it gives a nice result actually. But unfortunately, yes, it transfers. And of course, we start our discussion from some basic information. This eyeshadow palette is made in China, as actually other eyeshadow palettes from this line from Revolution. This beauty costs around €9, but depending on specific website, a price might be around 10 or 11 euro. But don't buy it for 10 or 11 euro because you can easily find it on sales and you can grab this palette for 6.5 or for 7 euro. And I think that nowadays these eyeshadow palettes are the best in drugstore, under 10 euro. And they are stunning, they are great, and we have different eyeshadow palettes with different undertones and with different shades. This lovely beauty is more red and pinkish, but I would say that it's still more kind of red. And here we have 2 cream eyeshadows, 5 matte eyeshadows, and 5 metallic shades. But metallics are different. We have different formulas here. We have a kind of a basic classical metallic formula from Revolution, and we have this beautiful topper, this beautiful sparkle. From the quality point of view, this palette is quite lovely. The only thing that these 2 shades, the darkest shades, they may stuck a little bit and they might be a little bit patchy. It depends on brushes you're gonna use, and it depends how you're gonna blend them. But you should take it into account still, and you should be careful with these 2 shades. Matte eyeshadows are creamy enough, it's quite easy to work with them, it's quite easy to blend them, especially lighter shades. And by the way, this shade is not fully metallic, it's more like a mix of metallic with extra shimmers, extra glitters, and that's why this shade is quite dusty, especially if we compare it to these 4 shades. So you should just know it. You should just know it. And you should take it into account that this shade, when you blend it, it appears not that pigmented as at the beginning. So ideally, you should layer it and you shouldn't blend it much. Or you can use it for blending the edges, and you're not gonna have the same shade. You're gonna have something lighter. Classical matte eyeshadows are pigmented enough. I would say pigmentation is between average and high. And if we talk about darker shades, they are more pigmented, first of all, and they are quite bright. Matte eyeshadows are slightly dusty, but it depends on the specific brush you're gonna use. In some cases, they might be not dusty at all if you're gonna use Squirrel or something soft. If you're gonna use gold, yes, they might be way too dusty, so take off extra just in case for not having fallout. Metallics. Some shades are, you can use a brush and you can apply all these metallics using the brush, but some shades are, like, I would say, better. From the application point of view, some shades are a little bit worse, and it depends. It depends on a specific shade. For instance, this one and this one, you have to find a specific brush for applying them without any issues. They are quite creamy, they are quite soft, and they look interesting, but these shades are quite basic. I would say it's a basic metallic shade, and normally I use such shades as transition shades, and I prefer having something, I would say, brighter and something more interesting on the upper lid as it is. But if you want to, you can use them, just simply you can apply them on your upper lid. This formula looks a little bit different if you compare it to this one, and I would say that this one feels more gentle, I would say, and not that metallic. These two, they can emphasize skin texture, especially if you apply a lot. This one feels and looks more gentle on eyelid and even slightly satin. This shade is, it looks quite similar to this one, but as an extra, we have some glitters here. They're not big, but we still have some. This beauty, it's a classical metallic from Revolution, and you can wear it as a topper. And this shade, it doesn't really have a visible base. If you apply a lot, it might be visible a little bit, but you just simply can use it as a topper. Now let's discuss the shades. This one is light pink, quite lovely and beautiful shade. By the way, talking about cream eyeshadows, you should set them with a powder because otherwise they crease immediately. Even if you're gonna set them with basic eyeshadows, they are gonna crease, especially if you have deep eyes, hooded eyes, and oily prone skin. In other cases, they may work, but I still suggest setting them with a powder and try to use quite a lot, especially if you have deep eyes and hooded eyes. Back to shades. Light pink, this shade, I thought that it would be kind of darker, but on skin it looks the same as this shade, and it's more about raspberries. So bright pink shade. This beauty, it's a mix of, it's a kind of duochrome first of all, and it shifts a little bit from golden to purple pink. Lovely, interesting shade. This one is pink, quite bright pink. This one, pink with red undertone, and it contains a bit of light golden glitters. This one is purple with red undertone. This beauty, actually quite interesting shades, dark, I would say dark gray with a bit of purple. And as an extra, it contains, I would say, no, it doesn't contain extra golden glitters, but when you apply it on eyelid, it looks and it appears as if it contains some glitters, but actually it doesn't. This shade, dark purple, berries, dark berries or something like this. Quite interesting shade as well and quite complicated. Purple with red undertone. So it's not a classical purple shade, it's more like purple red. This one, bright pink, just simply bright pink. Reminds me berries, raspberries. This shade is quite complicated, and then I think that it's just the best shade from this palette because it's quite unique. It's a mix of gray with beige, browny beige, and with a bit of pink. Lovely shade, and I think that it's just simply gorgeous and it looks stunning on eyelid, and you can easily use it for blending all these dark shades. This one is peach, light peach shade with extra kind of silver glitters, and these glitters are way too small. And you know what? When I was filming some swatches yesterday, I had to swatch this palette while unboxing an advent calendar from Look Fantastic, and I realized that they've changed formulas. When I was filming the reviews, when I filmed reviews for this two, I was like, okay, fine, they are great, they are quite lovely, but I told you that these two shades are way too flaky, and this shade is quite flaky, and you have to be careful while applying them. And then I swatched this palette, and they changed not only metallics, they changed matte eyeshadows as well. In this palette, matte eyeshadows are more creamy, and they're not that patchy, especially if we talk about dark shades. Maybe it's just because we have more brown story here, as this palette is actually not that patchy at all, I would say. But still, these matte eyeshadows, they're more creamy and they are not that dusty if we compare them to this new palette. If we talk about metallics, metallics are different. Here, metallics are more creamy, they are better pressed, and they look more interesting. And if it's a duochrome, it's visible on eyelid that it is a duochrome. Here, these shifts, they are not that visible as we have here. And metallics are not that creamy as here. So I was a little bit upset, I would say, when I compared and when I swatched these side by side. These matte eyeshadows are definitely drier if you compare them to this first palette. I don't like it, and I think that it's a bad sign, but these palettes are quite lovely, quite great, but they are not the same anymore. They are changing textures, they are changing formulas. And that's it. That's it. I think that you should know about it, and I think that you should take it into account. I hope that the brand will return back to these formulas, because these formulas are quite stable and these metallics are great and stunning. These metallics, they look quite lovely, I do agree, but they are not that creamy and they are not that soft anymore. That's that. Now let's do some swatches side by side and let's compare this palette to some other palettes. And I wanted to raise as well that when I received this palette and when I saw these metallics, I was like, damn, it's not the same formula as here, or for instance here. And I was like, oh, I hoped that these metallics are creamy enough. Luckily they are, because I thought immediately about these palettes from Revolution, and here metallics are drier if we compare them to these textures and these formulas. So these metallics are still better than here. This palette, especially this one, is quite lovely, but some metallics, some formulas are way too dry, especially if we compare them to these palettes. Back to comparison. When I did several looks using this palette, I thought about this palette from Charlotte Tilbury, and actually here we have several kind of similar shades. Of course, you're gonna see swatches side by side. Formulas are not fully the same, but color story, it looks quite similar. And here we have as well something pink, red, and slightly burgundy. As well, I thought about this palette from Natasha Denona, a retro palette, and honestly they look kind of close, I would say. These color stories, they are way too close, and we have several shades that are close to each other. Not all shades are the same, of course formulas are not the same as well, but some shades, they look quite similar. And as well, when I tried this dark purple red shade, I thought about this palette from Natasha Denona. It's called Roxa palette, and here we have a dark lovely shade that is a mix of purple and red. And if you wanted to try this shade, actually as an option you can try this one. Formulas, again, they're not fully the same, but shades, they look quite close. Talking about this lovely metallic, I have a kind of a similar shade from Bernovich right here. I haven't filmed swatches side by side because I was like, are they really the same or no? I wasn't sure about it. And let's do it right now. Okay, they look quite close, but this texture, this formula feels thinner and it looks more shimmery, I would say. But both shades, they shift a little bit from light golden to light pink. And let me tell you shade number. I still think that it's Bernovich, not Glam Shop. Yes, Bernovich X52. And as an option, you can buy this shade if you want just simply this beautiful shade as a topper. I completely forgot to mention that in this palette from Revolution, it was a limited edition, the Muse icon. We had a lovely purple red shade. And here we actually have a similar one, and I think that they are just simply the same. At least on swatches, they look way too similar. And I think that if you have this palette and if you wanted to try this palette just simply because of this shade, I'm not quite sure that you need it, because you have this shade already. Time to sum up, and I think that these new palettes from Revolution are quite lovely, and my favorite, of course, is this one because it's easier to work with it, and we have different undertones here. I do like this one as well, especially I do like toppers, but I'm a little bit upset, and I think that they could have done their job better, and these beautiful toppers, they should be adjusted, in my personal opinion. If you like pink color story, this palette may work lovely for you, but I'm not a big fan of such red and red pink shades. And don't forget that you have to be careful while wearing such shades, because if you have slightly red eyes, well, such shades, they can easily emphasize redness, and if you didn't sleep well, don't use such shades, because otherwise you would appear like a vampire and your final look would look a little bit weird, because our eyes, they reflect shades that we are that we have around, and ideally while wearing such shades, you should have something in between. For instance, you can wear something darker right here, or instead something lighter, or as an option you can wear something blue. You can add a blue eyeliner in a waterline, and in this case you're gonna have a fully different result. So please be careful with these eyeshadows. I don't really like that the brand decided to change formulas, and I don't think that it's nice. I truly hope that they will return back to these textures and these formulas. Crossing fingers, and maybe just a matter of these palettes, I don't know, and hoping for the better, I would say. Let me know down below what you think about these palettes from Revolution. Do you like them or no? And do you have any or no? I hope you enjoyed this video, and if yes, don't forget to put a thumbs up, and of course consider subscribing. I wish you a pleasant day, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye bye!